Hello, my Teaserking family. Just a second. All right, so tough day yesterday. So how do you react is the key, right? So Minnesota gives up 21 points in the fourth quarter. The fuck our over or our under, which was predicated on the backup quarterback. So the logic is backup quarterbacks, good defenses, they won't score. And they made fucking hey Alex. All dogs in college. Well, I didn't know the weather was like that in App State. UCLA was not a dog. UCLA 35-22. So no, they didn't. And Cal didn't cover either. I don't know what you're talking about. And Fresno State killed New Mexico State. So how do we recover from the Denver game? Well, okay. So let's look into the logic. The logic was Detroit's got a 30 defense, Denver a 17, Russell Wilson against Goff. It's just one of those things. I don't think Denver really even came to play. I didn't watch the game because it's on, I guess early, but not the final. UCLA switched quarterbacks and everything. But anyway, so I watched the games on NFL Network. I'm not buying NFL Network to watch that crap. So what happened in the game? Denver basically they didn't show up. They got the ball at the 20, and Russell Wilson fumbles the ball like he's never seen a blitz before. I don't know what the play calling was. They didn't take advantage of the Lions' shitty secondary. The Lions certainly seemed to get a lot of pressure on them for some reason. And then where was Denver's 17 defense that decided not to show up? It's one of those games Detroit played with emotion. And then you wonder why they played like shit against Chicago, Green Bay, and the rest of them. So really hard to explain. That's football. That's emotion. That's why it's not easy to handicap it. So we're not looking for excuses here. I'm not trying to use excuses to say I had Denver and they lost. What we're trying to do is be stoic and analyze why we lost so we don't lose like that again. Now, I had the over circled also in the game, but I went with Denver getting 10.5. And, of course, the over wins easy, 41. But, I would make the same bet every time. Denver getting 10.5. They're a very good team. Had to win the game. And Detroit, they play like this one in 8 or 9 games. So it was just the one game. Don't really get it. Next week they're at Minnesota. They'll probably lose by 20. Bad coaching. Denver looked like they didn't show up in the game. When I watched the game, then it was fixed. Denver scores a touchdown. Denver gets a first down. It's not a first down. The refs keep calling when the knee touches, but they don't. It's where the ball is when the knee touches. They had a clear touchdown. The guy's knee hit, and the ball was at the goal line, and they call it short. And you got replay. What's the point of the replay if you're not going to use it? So I think there was a lot of bullshit that goes on. That game, I think, was totally fixed for Detroit. Like I said, Denver marched right down on them, and then that was it. Detroit, where was Denver's points? And then when Denver did get a first down, it wasn't a first down. And then what is with this fourth down, run up the middle, run into the line crap already? I'm so tired of it. I see this in every game. It's 4th and 1. Oh, he ran up the middle and lost 2 yards. Of course you can't run up the middle. It's called punt the ball or kick a field goal. It's not, there's no rule that says it's 4th and 1, go for it. And when you're going to go for it, run up the middle. Can you at least play action pass for me? Can you do a Dave Casper and try to do that? But so the game's over. Denver loses 42-10. Okay, but now how do you be stoic and say, okay, it's a loss, but we know how to handicap, we know how to predict, and off you go. Just a bad Saturday. So you know the games. What's Jenna talking about? Just a second. All right, so there's nothing you can do. Well, it's like when your girlfriend breaks up with you or your boyfriend, you have to just move on. You know certain things and you move on to it. You be stoic, you're strong, you can't pick all the winners, so you just move on from it. Yeah, we lost a little bit, but okay, we'll get it back today, and we got other locks going, we'll go. So I owe you a free pick. What should we give you? I'm going to give you Kansas City minus 2.5 against New England. They've lost 2 in a row. We know Mahomes is pissed. Look for this to be not close. I got 27-10 KC, so let's make KC the free pick, and let's see if we can get a winner here. We know there's a 17 defense. Mahomes against Zappy. Very good weather in New England, 10 miles an hour. And why don't we go through the weather first, and then we'll go through the lines. Okay. Atlanta, Carolina. Everybody's healthy. At least that's playing. Riddler, Brooks Robinson, and that. 99% chance of rain, 16 miles an hour. Atlanta 2.5, and where the fuck are they? 2.5 and 33. Now we've got rain and wind. There won't be a lot of points scored. Atlanta's an under team anyway with the 21, and Carolina's a Z team. They don't score anyway. But with the rain and the wind, look for this to be like the Appalachian State game, which I did win. I had App State even against Miami. They played a 13-9 game. But I basically didn't know about the rain. It's in Jacksonville. It poured. But we got App State to win it with Joey Aguilar. But so here you've got, Carolina sucks, right? They don't score. They scored 13 a game, 14 a game. That's a normal indoor weather. So look for this game to probably be low scoring, or it should be, with 16-mile-an-hour winds and rain. Chicago, Cleveland, same. You got 69% chance of rain and 15 miles an hour. It's the same thing in the Cleveland game. A lot of rain, 15 miles an hour wind. Chicago's defense is getting better. Cleveland's is good. Fields should be able to run a little. It should hurt Flacco, who's not going to be able to throw as much. So, again, we've got a really low-scoring game there, I would imagine. Tampa Bay, Green Bay. Now here we've got a 38% chance of rain and only 10 miles an hour and 42 degrees. So that shouldn't really hurt. They're in a stadium. 10 miles an hour probably isn't too much. 42 degrees. So that's where we're at. Probably not as bad. It's maybe it rains, but is it a drizzle or is it there? It's raining here. So, but how big is the rain? The Jets at Miami. Now, no rain, but 23-mile-an-hour winds. 23-mile-an-hour winds kills Miami because that's all they do is throw. And we got the Jets defense, which is going to shut you down regardless. Look for this game to be under and look for this game to be the JETSs. I think I took them under. So as you can see, the weather is a factor, and you can see what it was yesterday. KC, New England, nothing, no rain, and 3-mile-an-hour wind. So this is a good thing for Mahomes, way better than Zappy. So we that's why we like KC. The weather will not be a factor. The Giants, New Orleans in the Dome. Again, Olave's questionable. Otherwise, everybody's healthy. Houston, Tennessee. Case Keenum starting for Houston. Nico Collins and Noah Brown. And no rain and 8-mile-an-hour wind. So weather won't be a factor here. Just coaching. The Niners, Arizona's in the Dome. Washington, the Rams are in the Dome. Dallas, Buffalo. You got the Buffalo weather. 62% rain and 15 miles an hour like the others. So rain and wind. This is take the dog probably under 218 defenses. So this will definitely have a bearing on it. So I would say this is also under with the rain and the wind. Baltimore at Jacksonville, 12% rain, 20 miles an hour winds. Another low scoring game. I mean, Lawrence isn't a good passer anyway, but he can't run with his high ankle sprain. Baltimore will just blitz the shit out of him. I wouldn't be surprised if Baltimore shuts him out. And Baltimore can run with Lamar. So this is another very low scoring game. Philly, Seattle, we have no wind, but we have rain. Philly on 2 losses in a row. Philly should win this game. So that's where we've got the rain. So again, Cleveland, Chicago, yes. Miami, 25-mile-an-hour winds. Atlanta, Carolina, rain and 60-mile-an-hour winds. Dallas, Buffalo, rain and 15-mile-an-hour winds. Baltimore, 21-mile-an-hour winds. And Philly, rain. So if you just took the rain and the wind, you got Chicago, Cleveland under. You've got Atlanta, Carolina under. You've got Dallas, Buffalo under. I also took Dallas with the points. That's already been bet. And I don't care about the rain and the wind. I like the dog in the game regardless. And then Baltimore, Jacksonville. I love Baltimore, but now it's 21-mile-an-hour winds. It's turning into an under game. So let's look at my bets and make sure that's what I got. Miami, Baltimore under, yes. Atlanta under, yes. And then we got to play Cleveland under. So we will add Cleveland under. Cleveland is 37, 38. So the problem with today is it throws me off schedule because I don't normally I bet a certain way, and I not necessarily want to bet. I don't have it set for rain and wind too much, but let's go through the line. So we've got Atlanta 2.5, 32.5. Down from 34 to 33. Atlanta, I mean, Carolina's terrible. There shouldn't be too much scoring in this. Carolina can't do anything. The Cleveland 2.5, 37. I'm not going to change 3 to 2.5 and 37. So I liked the Bears initially, but now I got to go under because of the weather. So the Bears normally score with Fields running. So I think the Bears win the game. Flacco should not be able to throw the ball. They don't have Chubb, but Hunt, I believe, is playing. Green Bay 3.5, 41.5. We've got really little win there. This is a playoff game. Both teams need it. Now, yesterday's playoff game, Mini Cincy, the dog won. Indy Pitt. Indy blows out Pitt. Well, that's Trubisky throwing interceptions. And Denver, Detroit, playoff game, and Detroit kills them. Where was Denver? That's the thing. So we're watching, and it was all home teams yesterday. Although Hal Browning, who is this guy, throws 3 touchdowns against a good Minnesota defense. So this will be very like, what the fuck's going on here? Browning comes in. Mullins looked good. Trubisky looked like shit. Minshew's good. Wilson looked like shit. Goff actually looked good for once. Didn't throw all the interceptions he normally does. Where was Denver's blitz? I don't know. Sorry to recant, but frustrating. So Green Bay, Tampa Bay is a playoff game. I'll go through the scores in a minute. Tennessee 3.5, 38.5. No win there, and we've got Case Keenum against Levis. Henry and the receiver are playing. This should be well, I don't know with Keenum. He's not a bad quarterback. The Saints 5.5, 39.5. Where the hell are we? Against the Giants, Carr against DeVito. The only question is Olave. I'm sure he'll play. He's questionable. The Giants minus 5.5, 39.5. Should be a close game. The Giants technically are in it, even with 5 wins, because there's so many bad teams out there that have only won 6 or 7. But it's a really pathetic league. Miami 8.5, 36.5. Again, huge wins. That's why the line went from 40 to 36.5. With the Jets defense and Zach Wilson, this should be a low-scoring game. I had 24-18, but I might lower it. But still, that's winnable. But I don't know that Miami gets 24 with this win. I mean, because all he does is throw the ball. They don't really have running. You're not going to run on the Jets, and you can't really throw with 25-mile-an-hour wind. You can throw downwind. So half the game he'll throw. The other half he can't throw. KC 8.5, 39.5. As we told you, take KC. No weather to worry about. I'm not sure why the over is going up. Zappy's okay, but not great. Hey, Todd. Denver didn't bet UCLA under. I bet the other under 3 teams. Okay. Well, I don't know. Did you watch the Denver game? They didn't show up. The refs kind of cheated. The Lions played over their heads. What can I say? It's just Denver didn't show up. They didn't look like they wanted to be there. I mean, they got going in the beginning, and Russell Wilson, they ran a stupid play and he gets sacked and fumbled. And then I thought their play calling was weird. Didn't take advantage of the secondary, but they just they didn't play. They had to win. They're trying to catch KC. Detroit's not that good. They just lost to the Bears. There's just things you can't explain. Was it a good bet? Yes. Would I do it again today? Yes. They were a live dog in the game. They just didn't get it done. What can you say? They just did not show up for some reason. All right. The Niners, 11.5, 48.5. I'm not sure why this spread's down. Everybody's healthy for the Niners. Go Niners. They'll kill Arizona. I think I played the Niners too. They'll kill them because Arizona's a very weak home favorite, and the Niners need it for the 1 seed, if that means anything anymore. I'm beginning to wonder what motivates these guys because they don't seem to try sometimes. You could ask me the same question about Pittsburgh, Todd. What happened to Pittsburgh? I didn't play Pittsburgh, but, man, they sucked. It's Trubisky. How do you have a quarterback like Trubisky? And then here comes Mullins and Browning lighting it up. Browning looks very impressive because Minnesota's actually got a good defense. So, yeah, I mean, a lot of it's the quarterback. I just found Denver's defense did not put pressure on Detroit like they should have. The Rams, 6.5, 49.5. Rams should win. I got them 38-20. Washington with the 30 defense. So if we just take primary etiquette of how we bet, we've got where am I? The Rams need the game, which I don't know if that means anything right now. And they've been scoring. They played very well against Baltimore, who has a killer defense. Washington does not. A 30. Howell doesn't scare me. Donald, Stafford, Cup, everybody's playing. So I think the Rams, this spread, I got the Rams minus 10, and I'd still lay the 4. But here, this is just, that's candy to me. Buffalo, 2.5, 49.5. I'm surprised this line hasn't really changed the over-under. You got rain and 15 miles an hour. You think these guys are just it's not going to affect them? Did you watch the App State game? The rain and the wind, all the fumbles, it's not easy with the wind. Forget the rain, but the rain and the wind makes it a very tough. I don't think this gets to 50, although I don't know. I think Dallas, this should be a very close game. I don't see Buffalo blowing them out. If anything, it's Dallas. Micah Parsons, I think, is the key to the game. He'll be all over Allen. So in the game last week, Kansas City was getting to Allen, but they weren't sacking him. But Micah Parsons is faster than the defensive guys and Allen, and when he gets in there, he'll sack him. He's fast enough and strong enough to sack Allen, and you'll watch him blitz a lot and get there. Hopefully they blitz a lot. Baltimore, 3.5, 40.5. Again, 21-mile-an-hour wind. It's got to affect Jacksonville more. Trevor Lawrence can't run, high ankle sprain. Baltimore with a killer defense. Baltimore with Lamar, that's all he does is run. Can't throw the ball, so the wind won't really affect Baltimore. They're going to run and play defense, and you got Jacksonville. So I think this is probably an under, and I like Baltimore. They need the game. And last but not least is Philly, 2.5, 45.5. My guess is that the quarterback's out. Although it doesn't make sense, it would go to 2.5. Geno Smith questionable with the groin. Let's go to Geno Smith over here. So we're waiting, but this is tomorrow night, so we'll know more tomorrow night. Geno Smith questionable. So Geno Smith's questionable. I like Philly. Philly is a strong against the spread. They're strong as a road favorite. Seattle's not as good of a home dog as you think Seattle is with the 12th man. I see Philly winning. We get 3.5 is an absolute joke. I got to add that. I don't see Philly. All right, so I added Philly. Philly off of 2 losses in a row and got embarrassed by Dallas. Look for them to win pretty big here. And Seattle doesn't scare me. Now the receivers are ready, but that's about it. Todd, Dallas +8 be a good bet. Absolutely. Seattle doesn't have a killer defense yet. Take Philly. Yeah. I just said. Again, Philly's motivated. They lost 2 in a row. KC's motivated. They lost 2 in a row. Look out there. Let me go through my scores. And I have to adjust my scores. I had Chicago 24-20. Now I got 14-mile-an-hour wind and rain. We're going to reduce this to 17-14 for the Bears. Tampa 24-22. I'm going to keep. Tennessee 17-6. I'm going to make it 17-13 because now Case Keenum's the quarterback. Miami 24-18. It's about right. Maybe 20-18. They shouldn't score much with the Jets defense and this big wind. KC 27-10, 10-mile-an-hour wind. I'm happy with that. New Orleans 27-24 in the dome. I think DeVito, he's got 8 touchdowns and 3 picks. He's got more touchdowns than half the league. They look much better. They're playing well. New Orleans, Olave's questionable, but let's assume he plays. Carr's playing. They're not a shutdown team, New Orleans. They got a 20 defense, but I think they'll be scoring. Atlanta, I got 24-7 with rain and 16-mile-an-hour winds. That's about, maybe it's 20-7. Let's go there. LA 38-20. I'll keep that. It's in the dome. Frisco 37-13. I'll keep that. Dallas 31-27. Let's go down to 27-20. Dallas. This has got to be lower scoring with the rain and the wind. I don't know. You just can't go back and, Josh Allen hit all these guys when it's raining and windy. It just doesn't work that way. Baltimore 34-17. We're going to adjust down to 24-13. Baltimore because of 21-mile-an-hour winds. The best running team wins. And then Philly, I got 31-24. I think I'll keep that even with the rain. Philly runs the ball so much. This is why you must have a running attack because you're going to get these windy, especially in the playoffs, right? You're in the playoffs. You're at Buffalo. It's fucking – you got snow and wind. You're going to just throw the ball all over the place? You got to be kidding. And that's really the funny part about Buffalo is they're not designed for their own weather. They don't have a runner. They're running Cook a little bit. Apparently, their offensive coordinator is now the LSU coordinator under Joe Burrow. The question is it the offensive coordinator or was it Joe Burrow, Chase Jefferson, Moss Jr., Chocolate Eclair? Was that why they scored 50 points a game? Because he went to Carolina and they got 10 points a game. So it's hard to duplicate it. And then is it the coordinator or the player? as we know with Tom Brady, it was always Tom Brady, never the coordinator, because he couldn't go anywhere else and do anything. Look at McDaniel, went to Oakland. They scored 20 points a game. He's so great. No, it's Brady, it's Montana. You've got those guys, and it's not the coordinator. Just get out of my way. Let me call the game. And believe me, these quarterbacks can call their own game. Namath did. Stabler did. You don't need a coordinator. I don't get what the point of the coordinator is. Unless the quarterback's so stupid, you can't call the game. So what are we looking for? We're trying to throw up from yesterday with the Denver game, but we've got good games today. The win gives us the Cleveland under. The win gives us the Miami under. The win gives us Atlanta under. The win gives us Dallas, Buffalo, lower scoring. The win gives us Baltimore. So that's 5 games we can take advantage of with 20, 25 mile an hour winds. And we saw the App State game when they couldn't even hold on to the ball. So that's what we're looking at. Teams that need the game. So Cleveland and Chicago kind of both need it. Chicago can apparently get 9-8 and make the playoffs. Tampa, Green Bay is a playoff game. Houston, Tennessee apparently is a playoff game, even though Tennessee's won 5 games. They could go 9-8. It's not going to happen, but they could. Miami and the Jets. I guess the Jets they got 5 wins, and they got Aaron Rodgers sitting there. So they could conceivably, especially if they beat Miami, they could definitely still make the playoffs. KC, New England. We know New England's out. KC is trying to beat Denver and and get the 1 seed. New Orleans and the Giants. It's a playoff game. I don't know that it matters or it means anything. Atlanta, Carolina. Atlanta must win against the Z team. Washington, the Rams. The Rams must win against the Z team. The Niners, Arizona. The Niners must win. They want the 1 seed. They're tied with Philly and Dallas, which makes Philly and Dallas have to win because the Niners are going to win. And they're playing a W team. Dallas, Buffalo, well, that is a playoff game. That's a Super Bowl matchup possible. Baltimore, Jacksonville, both teams need the game. But Lawrence is injured and the wind. And then Philly, Seattle. Philly is in a must-win. They're tied with Dallas. They're tied with the Niners. They don't have the 1 seed. They have to win. They're the cream. They have to win. Hurts will do better in the rain because there's no, he's just going to run the ball, right? Philly likes to run the ball. The running back, the guy from Georgia, was on the Lions. He'll be taking the ball. They don't, they'll do a little bit of passing. It'll really hurt Seattle with their passing attack. If Geno Smith plays, he's still questionable. We'll know tomorrow. He's got a pulled groin. If not, they get Locke. At this point, I don't know if the backup quarterback's good or not anymore. You wonder why the backups aren't playing and the starters aren't sitting for some of these teams. So Seattle, they need the game, but they're losing. And Philadelphia, off of a 2-game losing streak, they are going to give you a strong effort, and that's all you can say. They went to the Super Bowl. They need the game. They will win the game. And we've got 3.5 now, which is even better. So definitely Philly. I got them 31-24. Even in the rain, I still got them 31-24. Again, it's the win. So if we look at the win games, Cleveland, Chicago, 15 mile an hour. Miami and the Jets, 25 mile an hour. Atlanta, Carolina, 16 and rain. Dallas, Buffalo, 15 and rain. Jacksonville, 21 and no rain, and then just rain in Seattle. So this is where the elements do take it. You can't throw the football. I don't care how hard if you're Josh Allen and rain in 15 miles an hour. It's not easy to throw. It's not easy to catch. The ball gets wet. They can't dry the ball perfectly. So it gets a little bit wet anyway. So it could be slippery to throw and it's slippery to catch. That's the problem. And you got, where's the wind moving the ball? So you're throwing it here and it's really here. So that's what you got. So that's a look at today's games. Let's see. We've got teaser trends for today. Philadelphia is the best in a teaser. They're like 90%. So if I take Philly in 3.5, that's 90% they're going to win. Baltimore is very strong as a road favorite. Dallas is a very strong road dog. Frisco is like Arizona is very weak as a home dog. Bet against Arizona, bet against Washington. They're like 19-1. Bet against Carolina. Well, they can't win anyway, but the beauty of teasers is they don't win, but then they don't cover because they're not getting 20 points a game. I mean, here they're only getting 3 points. This is a team that couldn't win a game in the Sun Belt, right? Troy would beat them. App State. I mean, they couldn't win a game, and they're only getting 3 points at home. And you've got rain and wind. And what's Young going to do? I mean, he's terrible in regular. So Atlanta needs the game. They're going to run the ball down their throat with Robinson and I want to say Aguilar, but I know that's not right. Whatever, Eck. I can't think of the name, but the other running back, Aguilar. So look for them to run it down their throat, and Young won't be able to do much. Let's see. New Orleans is absolutely horrible to bet on, and they were actually a very strong bet against. Something like 19-1 bet against New Orleans. KC is very strong to bet on. Miami's a good home favorite. The Jets are okay. Green Bay, Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is very strong as a road dog. Chicago is very weak to bet on. They were like 18-2 against. Now, I haven't done last week's because I was out of town, but I'm going to do that after I'm done here. Cleveland. And then we've got, well, that was it. So Minnesota is another one that was very strong. And that's sometimes you get fucked up. I should have taken Mini. I had Mini and I had the under, and I took the under yesterday. I had Indy and I had the over in the game, and Pitt. I didn't play either. My first instinct was the over. It went over. And then in the Denver game, I love Denver, but I did have the over circled, and I took Denver, and I knew that the way my day was going, the over was going to win, but there was nothing I can do. I already bet it. So a lot of times go with your first instinct, which is what I did with Denver. I'm still, anytime I see Detroit favored, I'm all over the dog, as I was with San Diego at one. Green Bay, they won. So Detroit, this is really the first time I've lost on betting against Detroit. They're at Minnesota next week. See, now the problem with Detroit is they're all happy and excited. They won't show up next week. They're not consistent, and I don't know what Denver was doing not blitzing them. You blitz Goff, he can't handle it, as you do with most of it. So I was watching who blitzes, and when I look, Philly blitzes, Baltimore blitzes, Dallas blitzes, the Niners blitz. All the teams that are in first place blitz. I've never seen such poor defense as I did in the Pitt Indy game. They're playing zone, and they let the guy run right in there. They don't understand how to play a zone. They just play this 3D, and the linebackers are just running around. Nobody takes the man. So the guy goes, and then he just cuts, and nobody's with him, and he catches the ball. And you see 5 guys behind him. Meanwhile, nobody's taking the guy, and he's sitting there. He's just sitting there. So this is the worst defense I've ever seen in my life in the NFL for most of these teams. Like I said, the teams that blitz those are very good. And you can see Philly, Baltimore, Dallas, Frisco. The teams in first place are the teams that are smart enough to blitz. The other teams with their secondary, I don't understand it. The Lions put pressure on Wilson. Where was all the draws and the screens that should have defeated all that? And where was the blocking, I guess, even more? So anyway, we'll put that to bed. So again, let's make Kansas City the free pick. And let's get one free pick in. If Alabama loses, I'm going to a mental institution. So we still have Alabama. Get 7.5. Just find other teams to play it with. Georgia under, Washington over. The bowl games were really strange yesterday. So we have Ohio. They win 41-21. And Prophet told me that all the Ohio guys transferred and everybody's on Georgia Southern. And Ohio wins 41-21. That's why I don't like too much information in here that I don't know about, because it's all bullshit, right? So 41-21 Ohio get the easy win. Jacksonville State beats Lou Lafayette 34-31. I didn't play that game. Lou Lafayette had no quarterback, and they still scored 31. So you never know what the four-string quarterback is. App State, I have even 13-9 over Miami of Ohio. I actually got a winner. They were up 13-3, and then I looked. It was a rainstorm. It was pouring. It was in Jacksonville. So I'm going, okay, Jacksonville, Baltimore is going to be a rainy fucking day today. New Mexico State, Fresno State, another winner. I have the game over. I don't like New Mexico State favored. I want them as the dog. They're 3.5-point favorites. Again, Fresno State started at 1.5. New Mexico State goes to 3.5. So you figured and then Fresno State kills them 37-10. Mikey Keene had a big day. We have the over 45. It's 37-10. So it does get over 47. So winner number 2. Then I get into UCLA Boise. Boise with the new quarterback. I think they're going to get shut out because UCLA's got a tough defense, 18 defense. UCLA wins 35-22, gets a 57. I lose my under by 3 points. I have 54. And basically, Boise scores 22 points. I mean, with the new quarterback, where did that come from? And UCLA gets 35. The transfer from Kent, the quarterback, comes in, and he runs wild, which you're not expecting. He didn't play the whole year. Okay, quarterback change, but that's okay. That's who knows. So I lose that by 3 points. And then Cal, Texas Tech, I play the game. I like Cal in 9.5. I like over 51. I take the over. Again, the money went on Texas Tech. They win 34-14. It's 14-14 first quarter. And then Cal, I don't know. Did the quarterback get injured or what? I don't think so. Ott scored 2 touchdowns, and then where did he go? So 48, I got 50. I'm over 51. I lose again by a few points. So it was a tough Saturday where, UCLA under was the play and Cal, Texas Tech over. So Cal just forgot to score one more touchdown or something. So that's what happened. So, we're getting our feet wet with the college. Usually I'm much better once we get into the 28th. We get to the bigger games, they tend to play more now. Like Alabama, Michigan, I'm expecting the expected outcomes. Alabama wins the game straight out, right? And that you normally get. So love Alabama. It's funny, if I'm looking for a game, okay, Kansas City. Okay, I'll play with Alabama. It's just hysterical. I know that's a good one. The other pretty good games, I think Georgia under, because Florida State with no quarterback and a great defense. We know Georgia's defense. The Georgia Tech UCF, I've got that game played. Troy Duke, I've got that game played. North Carolina, Virginia. Now here's May's out. He's got to get ready for the NFL so he can look like Mitch Trubisky and be a real dog. And West Virginia, 5.5. They got their quarterback. How is this the North Carolina quarterback? How's the guy taking over? We don't know. This is the real problem in college is when you get the backup quarterbacks. So that's why you like Alabama, Michigan. You got Milrose against JJ. You know what you got. You got Texas, Washington. You got Penix. I'm betting Penix. Okay, fine. I know what I got there. Georgia Tech, UCF. I know what I got. Their quarterbacks are playing. Troy Duke, I know what I got, but I don't know North Carolina. I pretty much have an idea SMU because Stone broke his leg, and then they've had 2 games with the new quarterback. And then Miami, I don't know what I got. Notre Dame, I don't know what I got. Hartman's out. Where's Hartman going? He's probably pissed that they didn't make the championship. And Uglia Buglia is out and Childs is out. So I do know the Oregon State quarterback from last year. He wasn't terrible. I know I got Notre Dame's defense, and their running back is not playing either because he doesn't want to get hurt. I'm so sick of these stupid excuses. You're playing fucking football. You could be practicing and get hurt. So you're going to go to the pros and you show them how tough you are by sitting out the bowl game because you're afraid to get hurt. And what pro coach would fucking draft you then? I mean, you've got to be kidding. Well, my shoulder's a little tender. I can't play. That's what you're worried about, right? You're worried about these guys with no balls, no guts. I don't want to get hurt. What are you not? You're not going to shower. You're not going to drive. You're just going to stay at the facility and not travel. I mean, Jesus, it's ridiculous. So Louisville, USC, Caleb not playing. We know that. So real quick, we'll go through Marshall's quarterbacks not playing. We see Boise State's. Yeah, that was a good UCLA bet. James Madison, their quarterback's not playing. Air Force's quarterback's injured. If he can play, he will. It's Air Force. Coastal Carolina, new quarterback. Minnesota, new quarterback. USC, new quarterback. Kansas State, new quarterback. Oklahoma, new quarterback. Ohio State, new quarterback. Toledo, new quarterback. North Carolina, new quarterback. And Notre Dame, new quarterback. SMU, the quarterback broke his leg. So I give them a pardon there. And it's not a new one. We've seen him 3 games, and he beat fucking Tulane, who is a very good team. But the question is, so we know the quarterback's out, is what do you do with it? Do you just bet against Notre Dame? Oregon State's got a new quarterback. I should put that too. A new quarterback, Uglia Buglia. Fine, he'll probably get drafted in the first, he'll be the first quarterback drafted like Richardson because he can run. It's like, Jesus Christ. The stupidest GMs. Oh, my God. And what the fuck was NFL Network yesterday? All 3 games are on the NFL Network. So I'll tell you the problem with that. You want people to watch. You don't want it on a network that nobody gets. Nobody's got cable anymore. We all have got Roku. I got Roku and the antenna, and they're selling Roku TV. So pretty much that's what's going on. I'm not going to pay for the NFL Network to watch this shit. I couldn't believe it. So I'm looking for the games. They're not on. Losing viewers intentionally so you make $5 from NFL Network to lose $10 by nobody watching your games. Does that make any sense? I want people to come so I can teach them economics and football. That's okay. I don't limit it to subscribers. I say anybody who wants to come to class, and then you can learn, you ask questions and everything else. The more the merrier. I would not limit it to only subscribers or only people that bet on Cincinnati or things like that. So I don't know what's going on. So that's where I'm at with it. I don't know, and basically, I think that's what hurt baseball. Baseball used to always be on the NBC game of the week. When you're growing up, you can watch and at least get some baseball. Then they moved the Tigers to Bally, which was a pay network. And then they moved baseball to ESPN, and now it's who knows where. I never see a playoff game because it's on TNT, which I don't get. And before you know it, nobody's watching it. And then they're trying to plug soccer. I don't know why. And, all of a sudden baseball attendance is down and we got to change the rules because we're losing demand. And it's because you can't see the games. You can't put them on these pay networks because people aren't going to pay for it. I got better things to watch and do. I can watch YouTube if I want to watch the highlights, which I did. I don't need to pay for the NFL Network, and I'm not going to sit home. I wanted to watch the Lion game, but they were on NFL Network. And the Pitt game I didn't care about. And the Cincy, Minnesota, I would have liked to have seen after class, and then I went swimming. So that was the only one I kind of wanted to watch. But, yeah, they're shooting themselves in the foot because you're going to lose viewers. The younger viewers aren't going to watch it, and off you go. So I don't know what the fuck they're doing with this, but it's not good. So today's the 17th. So the 18th tomorrow, Old D, 2.5, 56 to Western Kentucky. As far as I know, both quarterbacks are playing a 28 defense and a 26 defense. The problem is the layoff. How does the layoff affect and what type of team? UCLA it didn't affect, but they run the ball and they play strong defense. Cal didn't do anything. They run the ball with Ott. They have an explosive defense. I can't believe they only got 14 on Texas Tech. So that's where the layoff hurts more of the passing teams. App State you can't count because they played in a rainstorm, and Ohio switches quarterbacks and scores 41 on Georgia Southern, who they have a 30 defense. So if we look at the bad defenses, the 28 defense of Lou Lafayette, they lost. The 28 defense of App State, they barely got the win in the rain. Cal with the 32 defense lost, so maybe it's the bad defenses. So UTSA should handle Marshall with the 28, and that's on the 19th. So I don't know what you do with Western Kentucky Old D. It's a 56. I guess it's go over with it because of two bad defenses. And Western Kentucky is an over team. And then UTSA Marshall with the 28 defense and a new quarterback. UTSA with Frank Harris. I probably do you think Marshall, UTSA is a 25 defense? I don't know. I usually go to the over-under when I can't figure out the game, as long as I have a good foundation for the over-under. Like here, UTSA is an over team, 25 defense. They're going to score. They're going to give up. Marshall's an even team with the regular quarterback, who's not their quarterback, and a 28 defense. So I know UTSA should score a lot. The question is, Marshall, with the new quarterback, are they going to score a lot, or are they going to, and that's really the question. And that's what, do I take UTSA or do I go over with the game? And that's really what I'm struggling with. Like I had Minnesota, and then I took the game under for because of the quarterbacks, and the quarterbacks were better than I thought because these are new quarterbacks. So it's really, you must have patience. You must be stoic when you get the new quarterbacks to watch them 3 or 4 games. Who do I got? Browning at Cincinnati looks okay against Minnesota's defense. That's very impressive. So with that said, can we trust Browning? Maybe we can. Mullins looked good. I thought he played on the Niners, so he looks pretty good. So I think you can trust Mullins. So that's the thing. We still don't think we can trust Young on Carolina. Minshew we can trust, and again, Trubisky we can't. So as they get more playing time, you go, oh, this guy sucks, this guy's good. Zach Wilson, he's looking better. I think they give Miami a game today. I think the win's going to help the Jets. But again, you're looking, you're really quarterback. Okay, we're taking Mahomes, we're taking Hurts, we're not taking Prescott, we're taking Micah Parsons there against Allen. But that's what you're looking for. So when you get these college games, what do I do with USC? We got no Caleb. We got Joe Smith as the quarterback, who we have no idea about. Louisville, we know they got the strong defense. Their quarterback's playing. They played Florida State really well, considering with Florida State's defense. So I don't know. if I got to take the better team, Louisville's an A team with a 20 defense. USC, without Caleb, is now what are they, a Z team, a W team? They give up 35. So you expect the new quarterback to suck, but you don't know. He could be Joe Montana, in which case you got to look at the coach going, well, why didn't this guy? Why were you playing this guy? Why'd you play Caleb when this guy's better than Caleb? And again, it's the system. So I would think they'd score a little, but Louisville's defense is so strong. Hard to say that. Anyway, that's kind of what we're looking at. So college, we'll take a little break today, and we're looking at the pros. And again, we've got a lot of weather in December, and off we go with it. So we'll see. We got Baltimore tonight, and we got Philadelphia tomorrow. I expect both of those teams to win. Good game, Dallas and Buffalo. And the Niners will take care of business. The Rams will take care of business. New Orleans, the Giants might win with Danny. He showed a lot against Green Bay. And Green Bay's got they got a 20 defense, so it's not like Danny did it against the Lions or some shit defense. So we will see. Atlanta in the rain and the wind. We've got 25 miles in Miami. We've got rain and wind in Cleveland off the lake. Green Bay surprisingly warm and just a 10-mile-an-hour wind. So I think at 10 miles an hour, I don't think the wind's going to bother these guys because they throw it too hard. They'll just make shorter passes. But when you get to the 25, I'm not sure you can even get to that. What did I get? So that's what we looked at. Again, now you're looking more to who needs it for the playoffs, only because they're more motivated. They know they can't afford to lose. So now it becomes, in your little math formulas, you algorithm people, how do you structure need the game for the playoffs? How do you structure Philadelphia and KC off of 2 losses in a row, needing the game? That's where I get you, because I don't know how you mathematically put that in the equation. And that's my point. But I mathematically bet it much stronger with KC and Philly off of 2 losses. You saw Frisco off of 3 losses, now off of 2 losses, but they had to play Burrow, and Burrow ripped them apart. So that's okay. If they're playing Burrow, if Philly's playing Kansas City, okay. You can't really, I think KC beat them. You can't really do anything. If KC's playing Dallas or Baltimore or somebody, then it doesn't mean anything. But when KC's getting New England and Philly gets Seattle, then that's where they can pound them, and they will. I wouldn't take Seattle or New England at all, and these lines are so low. I don't know why KC's 8.5. I assume the 10-mile-an-hour wind, zappy. Maybe you get an over in the game, but KC, the problem is KC's got such a strong defense, I can't go over with KC. It's like trying to go over with the Niners. It's hard, but at least they have the A defense, so you could get away with it. Oh, okay, Kyler Murray, maybe I'm careful because of Kyler Murray, but the Niners, they're too fast. They got too much defense. They got too much offense. They're just going to just pound it. And, you're down 28. Kyler Murray isn't going to help you there. So, yeah. So, okay. Well, good luck on the other 3 teams, Todd. And, what happened to Denver? You watched the game. They didn't show up. And that happens. We can say that what happened to Pittsburgh. They didn't. They got out-coached and out-quarterbacked by their backup, and Cincinnati. That's the game you should ask. What happened to Minnesota? They gave up 21 points to Browning in the 4th quarter, and they were up 17-7, and they blew that. what happened there is probably a bigger question. For 3 quarters, you got Browning. That's the game. Minnesota just stands there. They play a zone, and the guys and Chase just runs right through it. And he sits there and he runs and boom, runs in front of it, and he's wide open. And you're like, you have to double team Chase. You don't play a zone on Chase, and you don't rush 3 guys on fucking Browning. You blitz them. Where was the blitzing? You've blitzed all these quarterbacks. Just make them move around. Let them think about the rush and not the receivers. I don't know why you play it safe and play this bullshit zone. And we're up by 7. Let's not blitz. Let's rush 3 guys, and we'll put 8 guys back in coverage who won't cover anybody. I'd fire that defensive coordinator in a heartbeat. I heard the stat. The guy Jonadum, he says, they haven't. Minnesota hasn't let up a touchdown, and instead of games, he said minutes. And 100 minutes or whatever. Which that's a game and a half, and then boom, touchdown the next play. And I'm like, these guys just put the voodoo on them, but you didn't blitz. So anyway, that's what happens. Just terrible coaching going on. So I was watching my Stoics, which is nice. It's always be strong. And it's really stay away from certain types of people and don't, certain types of women. I'm about to watch one that says, how do you tell if somebody's using you? Which happens a whole lot to me anyway. When you're friendly, people take your friendship and they think it's weakness. And I get really frustrated. Like, look, I'm nice, but I'm not weak. And then you just tell them to fuck off. I did that with Carmen. She kept, I need money. And I'm like, fuck off. But you don't do anything for me. So if it's a one-sided relationship, you get out of it. That's the problem. So anyway, that's stoic is be strong and don't get taken advantage of, and do your exercises. It's good. I guess it's endorphins. So I always heard from our doctor to work out. It's good for your mind, and it's the endorphins that come out. So that's why I go swimming every day, and then I eat my omelets at 1 o'clock, 12 o'clock. So I'll go work out first, and then I'll have lunch after. So we got 50 minutes to game time. Let's see if anything has changed in our lines. Atlanta 2.5, 32.5. Not really. Cleveland 2.5, 37.5. See here, the trend is against the Bears. It's like 18-2 bet against them. So I'm a little leery. Again, the trend is, it's a trend, but who's in the trend? The grocery store guy or Fields, DJ Moore wasn't there. So it's really hard to go back more than like I can do this year and then maybe last year with Fields, but DJ Moore's not there. But you're always going to have changes, so you just got to go with it. 37.5 didn't change. Green Bay 3.5, 41.5 didn't change. Houston, Tennessee 3.5, 38.5. And again, in the Houston game, you've got Keenum, not Stroud, and I think Keenum's a better quarterback. Didn't he win the Super Bowl with Philly? Wasn't it Keenum? So I think it makes Houston a live dog where Mills, what's Mills doing on the team? If the guy gets hurt and you don't go to Mills, why is he on the team again? New Orleans 5.5, 39.5 has not moved. I think DeVito gives them a good game. I don't know if the Giants can win. It's in New Orleans. Again, Olave. Let's see if we got an Olave playing or not. Olave's out. Okay. So now I like the Giants with the Olave out, although the backups are going to be fine. I mean, Olave's out, and it's like they don't have another receiver on the team, and the backup isn't a good receiver. These are all pro players. Well, most of them, except for Trubisky. He's not really a pro player. Miami's down to 735.5. Look at this. So the weather is bad. My advice is to play that game under big time. Obviously, strong wind, strong rain. Let's go to my other site. And let's see what we got here. Is there an injury? Miami. Waddle, yes. Taysom Hill is out. Taysom Hill is inactive. Ooh. JETS time. Wind 23 miles an hour. The rain's only 7%, so we're not going to get the rain. We're going to get the 25 mile an hour. Oh, this is a beautiful under. Time to go to the Teaser King and put another bet in. Miami under with Baltimore. All right, so I played Miami under with Alabama. And I already had them played under with Baltimore under. So you can see, like, this last minute bullshit where you don't know if he's playing. Now we got to check Olave, who I think is out too. Didn't I say he was out? Come on. Yeah, Olave's out too. So it makes the Giants a really good play. All right. But they wait till game time. It's 12:15. The game start at 1. They're dicking around with these injuries. I'm really shocked that Tyreek Hill's out. He's had the bad ankle for a month now. Kansas City's up to 9.5, 39. What are they? They're listening, right? They hear me give a free pick, KC. Next thing you know, they go from 8.5 to 9.5. That's why when I get a good line like 8.5 and I can go under 3, I bet it. Because now here it is 9.5. But let's see if it's 9.5 everywhere. 9.5. And there's 1-9. And 39.5. We don't care about the over under in the game. It's taking KC off of 2 losses to kill New England. The Niners, 11.5, 48.5. That really hasn't moved. At 4 o'clock, if you need a game, I like that. I like the Rams, 6.5, 49.5. And Dallas getting 2.5, 49.5. In the bad weather, I wouldn't fuck with the over-under. If we're getting rain and 15 miles an hour, it will affect the game. You can't ignore it. You can't say, oh, it's a nice sunny day in Buffalo and 50 degrees and no wind. It's indoors. Baltimore, 3.5, 40.5. That hasn't moved. And Philly's 2.5, 45.5. Oh, that's coming down. But no reason. It's just rain. Well, let's look at the weather. KC, New England, nothing. 3-mile-an-hour wind. The Giants, New Orleans, indoors. Houston, Tennessee. Singletary, the running back. Brown. I never heard of these Houston guys. 8-mile-an-hour wind. No weather. Arizona's in a dome. The Rams in a dome, which I hate. Why is LA in a dome? Dallas, Buffalo. It's rain and 15 miles an hour. It's 62% rain, so we figure rain. Baltimore, Jacksonville is rain, 12% rain and 20-mile-an-hour winds. So the wind's a little bit, 12% rain. So we can't count on the rain like the other. Philly, Seattle, it's 80% chance of rain with no wind. So we know it's going to get wet there. But again, Philly runs the ball. It shouldn't affect them. Seattle, we don't even know if Geno Smith, he's still questionable. Oh, Jalen Hurts is now questionable. Let's see what that's all about. NFL injuries. Refresh. Philadelphia. Jalen Hurts, probable Monday with an illness, so that's all that is. And again, it's Monday night. New Orleans, let's see if it says Olave is out. Olave is still, this one still says questionable, but then it's out and he's inactive. So this is not the cure-all, done-all with that. So it's probably maybe ESPN or one of these NFL.coms that maybe give you the most updated injuries. I don't know how else to find it. Usually I go by the line. So when the Miami line goes to 7, I know Tyreek Hill's out, and then it says he's inactive. That one I get. The others maybe that's, I don't know. Hurts, I'm counting on him to play. Dallas, Buffalo, we wish Prescott was out, but no, he's playing, unfortunately. Howell, Stanford, Riddler against Young. We hope Riddler doesn't fuck up too much in the rain and the wind. DeVito against Carr should be a good game, and they don't have Olave, so we like the Giants. Now, do we make too much out of injuries? That's a good question. I think it depends on who's the one injured. Joe Burrow's injured and Browning comes in, and I don't see a difference right now. What he did yesterday, same team. I'm more concerned with Chase's injury. Jefferson looked fucking good. All those LSU guys. That must have been a hell of a dinner with Jefferson, Burrow, and Chase getting dinner, I'm sure. I don't know what happened to Russell Wilson. I don't know. I don't know if it was his fault. He didn't seem to have a lot of time. Bad play calling, let's say, because you're running reverse plays that the defense is sacking you on. Maybe you can't run those plays. But it's Sean Payton. I can't bitch at Sean Payton. So that's the latest. So we take advantage of Olave being out, and we take advantage of Tyreek Hill being out. And we take advantage. So I believe when it's a Tyreek Hill or an Olave, I think you do. Now, the expected outcome changes. They shouldn't score as much. What's Tagliabue going to do without Tyreek Hill? Oh, my God, he's got to throw the waddle. Oh, yeah, that'll win the game. I don't even think Miami wins the game without Tyreek Hill. He's more important than Tag. And without him and 25-mile-an-hour winds, and the Jets are going to blitz the fuck out of them, I think the Jets win the game. I think Wilson played better. Their offense looked better, throwing these little crossing patterns to the running back, and they hit for touchdowns last week against a good Houston defense. They did knock Stroud out. Let's hope they knock Tag out. And they could win the game very easily without Tyreek Hill. So that the injury, if Mahomes goes out, the odds on KC winning are not that good, although they do have a decent backup. I think it comes down to the coach and the quarterback always, more so. All right, so what else? So I think we've covered football. We can touch it at about 1:45 just to update the lines, see what's going on. Gold and everything. So we understand the basic premise of it. What pisses me off is people. I tell you to buy gold, the dollar's going away, and you ignore me. Not you guys, but in the real world at the Toyota dealership, he ignores me. Then the plumber or some guy working at a store buys gold, and because they're friends with the wife then the light goes on. She says, "We need to buy gold and silver because Charlie Brown's buying it." And it does piss me off because I looked at the guy going, so I tell you, I'm an economist and I'm telling you what's happening and I'm telling you to buy gold and silver and get out of Bitcoin, and you don't. Well, my wife didn't want, he gives me the song and the dance my wife didn't want. But then when it was the wife's friend who did it, then the wife trusts the friend. Oh, so you don't trust me. And that gets to the point where who do you trust and at what do they know? This guy who runs his little auto parts store, whatever the fuck, is he an economist? Does he know about gold and silver? The fact he's doing it is because he heard it from somebody, probably like me. What's the Toyota guy doing? He's not able to tell his wife. He needs the approval of his wife to do it, and the wife doesn't know me, so that won't give the approval. But this other guy who's not an economist, I would doubt, is doing it, so then they do it. And I'm like, why are you listening to him but not me when I'm the economist, right? If I didn't know, I wouldn't care, but I know. So I wouldn't tell the guy to do what he's doing. He's basically taking all his money at the end of the week and buying gold with it, and then he takes the gold to pay payroll. You don't want to buy gold like that. You want to get gold and store it. You don't want to use it at these ridiculously low prices. So he's what he's doing logically is not good. You should take about 80% of your cash into gold, and then the 20% should pay the bills so you don't have to cash in your gold. That would be the only issue I would have with the guy. The wife, I'd have strangled her. I told you what to do, and now you don't believe it. And Jenna, I'm getting a little concerned about because she doesn't understand the gold, but her friends do. So I told her friends, and they're all, "Yeah, I want to buy gold. I want to buy gold." One of them had, the other one I'm too poor to have, and Jenna's sitting there not, well, maybe the gold price will go up, and I'm like, I think Jenna's into Bitcoin, and if she tells me, I'll kill her because if you really have money, then use it yourself and don't keep crawling to me. And that's where you think you're getting used is, oh, I need money for my nails, and I give her money for her nails. Well, if you got fucking money and it's in Bitcoin, I'm not helping you. I'm helping you if you need it or your birthday, but not just to use your nails because you've got money in Bitcoin. So, I'm a little bit distraught there that she's not listening to me. See, that's the real stoic. I'm telling you, and you're not listening. And keep this in all your relationships. I don't talk to my family because they don't listen, and it's too frustrating. So I just ignore the stress. And I think people have the wrong choice of friends. Your girlfriend's based on looks, not on her intelligence. She can be pretty and intelligent, and a good personality, but you don't just date a girl because of her looks. If she doesn't, like, to me, if they don't understand gold, I don't date them. Dari gets it. She understands the gold, the Russian. If Jenna doesn't, I'm going to have a hard time with her. And Irina gets it. So it's very important you understand that because that's survival. And if you don't understand it, you just scratch your head. But gold's about to break because they can't hold it any longer. Too many people are doing what this guy at the store is doing. He's buying gold. we always have bought gold and silver. So the salesman came over listening to me teach this. This is the sales manager, a salesman. Nobody's in the store because nobody can afford a car. Comes up, I got 100 grand. What should I do? And I told him 75,000 in gold, 25,000 in silver, because it's a lot easier to fly to Switzerland with 10 ounces of gold in your pocket than it is with 100 ounces of silver in your pocket, right? And the 10 ounces of gold will be worth a lot more than the 100 ounces of silver. But you do want some silver. It's so fucking cheap at 25 an ounce or 26 an ounce. It's ridiculous. That's why I got so much silver. I didn't intend to buy that much, but after learning and understanding, and it's $25, and the way it's priced in COMEX, which is price fixed, not free market, that's why I'm so excited about gold, because it'll go to free market. And once it goes to free market, well, it'll be 50, 60,000, and they can't really stop it from going to free market, because as the dollars are worthless and people are realizing it, then everybody's going to run to gold anyway, and they won't be able to hold this $2,000 price that they're price fixing. Really, you'll know it, everybody, when, and it's not a game. We don't know. It's not Sunday at 1. When people realize that it's not Kroger marking their things up, it's the dollar losing value. Once you understand Target and Kroger and the stores, the prices aren't really going up. It's the dollar going down. Once people realize that the dollar's going down, hence the dollar's value is going down, that's when gold goes out. And that's going to be very soon, because it's Christmas. And as soon as the holidays are over, again, in the U.S., the key is these politicians want the gravy train. So they want the printed money, want your vote. So they're not going to, they're going to try to be careful until they realize there's nothing they can do and the boat's sinking. And there's, it's like the Titanic. Once it hits the iceberg and the water's coming in, the guy says there's nothing we can do. It's over six bars or 6 capsules. It's going to sink. And that's where we're at now with the dollar. Once it's like this, there's nothing they can do to stop it. It's flooded. There's too much dollars out there. There's too much inflation. There's lack of faith. Nobody wants it. Even the Americans are starting to buy gold and silver, even though Alligator and Egon don't understand it. And I hate when they say, well, U.S. doesn't go to Europe. Well, I go to Europe. U.S. doesn't buy gold. Well, we all buy gold. What the fuck are they talking about? I hate when people talk like that, because they don't have a clue. And the reason is we don't travel to Europe because we can go to Hawaii, we can go to Vegas, we can go to California, we can go to Florida. We don't need to go to Europe because in the United States, there's so many places to go to, New York, Washington. So we don't need to get a passport and fly 8 hours to get to fucking London or Switzerland or wherever. We don't need to do that unless you have girlfriends in Europe. I probably wouldn't have went to Europe. And that's really the key to it is they talk like that, but in Europe, you go to other countries, because to go from Germany to France is like a half-hour flight, right? They're right next to each other, or Switzerland or Austria or Czechoslovakia. They're all an hour flight away, or not even that. You get on the train, and it's a 2-hour train. I have a friend, she went from Hungary to Austria on like a 4-hour fast train. So that's what they do. And they train around it to the different countries. But here our country, Vegas is a different country, and California is a different country. Orlando is a different country. I mean, that's our different countries, our different states. So we do that. So we don't need it. So what the fuck are they talking about? But we are starting to realize, and you hear a lot more gold standard, and you hear a lot more politicians starting to understand we're fucked. We need to go gold standard. Some of these states are sitting there going, well, we'll accept gold. But it's not gold standard. It's just they'll accept it, but it's not priced right. So what we're waiting for here is it to get free market priced, not paper priced. And that's really the key that most people don't understand. It's paper derivative priced, not free market. So when I say $30,000, $50,000, $2,000, $3,000 silver, it's free market price. It's eBay price. But eBay not tainted by the paper. So if I put a gold coin on eBay, I'm only can ask $2,000. I can't ask 25,000 because there's too many out there at 2,000 because they're looking at the paper price. So how do we blow up the paper price? And that's what Russia is going to do, and that's what no demand for the dollar is going to do. And everybody will leave it, and then the dollar collapses. So goes COMEX because the gold is priced in dollars. So what we're waiting for is the dollar to go out and gold to be priced in gold, not in dollars. And that's why everything will get a little bit screwy. Kroger's will have to reprice things in silver. Your house will go to $0, but then go to gold. Your credit cards will go to zero because there's no more dollars. Does it get replaced in gold? I don't. I think it just goes to zero. I can't imagine you owe 10 grand on your credit card. What's it going to do? Go to 5 ounces of gold? Like you're going to pay in gold? What if you don't have gold? So I think the credit cards and the mortgages have to go to zero. And the debt will go to zero, but then the assets go to zero. So your house, you won't owe anything on it, but it won't have a value until the market comes up and says the value's in gold, the market's in gold. So right now we're waiting for for people to wake up and realize, fuck, the dollar's worthless. We know it's worthless in our class. I presented that several times because you can't have inflation. If you have inflation, the dollar has no value. And as soon as you take money off of gold and silver, you're fucked. And that's what they did. 1964, that was it for silver coins. It's been nothing. And then the coins were never in gold, but you had the gold-backed currency, which now since 71 has been gone. How we've survived since 71 is just because the whole world's on it, but now they're breaking apart. Germany and Russia and the BRICS countries all want gold-backed currency. They now understand that their currency is shit and the U.S. is shit, and they want to get out of it, and the only way out is gold. That's why China's got 60,000 tons and Russia's got 40,000 tons, and all these other central banks are buying it. Well, there's only so much gold out there, therefore it's going to keep you. You can only derivative paper gold if you have gold. So what I don't like is it'd be like me selling 1,000 ounces of gold. I don't have 1,000 ounces of gold to sell. Or these ETFs, they are Madoff. Be careful of the Madoff. Be careful of the scam. You do not want to be in ETFs. You don't want to be in stocks for the gold. There's no physical gold in ETFs or stocks. The stock is based on the gold value. But as I say, and I know Luke likes this, he wants to buy stock. He thinks they're undervalued. Well, fuck, what do you think silver is? Silver's $25 is pretty fucking undervalued. So if you understand that, then you got to be stoic. You got to be patient, but you got to know it's undervalued. It's priced in paper, which are derivatives. It's not real price. It's sort of like my Canadian club. This is physical. You get the bottle, not this is what they're doing. Okay, you've got a bottle of whiskey. Where? Well, yeah, it's not real, but I'm derivating it. You've got the real bottle. So you want the real gold. That is what the scam is, what the Madoff is. They're selling you ETFs that you think you have gold and you don't. Why would you buy the ETF for the ETF? It's in paper, it's priced in dollars. You don't want to be in anything priced in dollars, AKA, the Titanic. You don't want to be on the boat. Well, ETFs, you're on the boat, and stocks, you're on the boat, and in the bonds, you're on the boat, and in the banks, you're on the boat. You don't want to be on the boat, and you want to be off the boat onto the gold boat. And as soon as you can kind of understand that, and get your wife to understand it, apparently, because you're not stoic and you don't do what you should do because your wife won't agree with it. There's a problem there. That's a bad marriage. So this guy at the Toyota, I'm like, it was Bobby was a shake my head moment where you're just going, you didn't listen to me, but you're listening to some other guy who's telling you the same thing, and you wasted 6 months because I go in every quarter to get the oil changed. Now I'm looking for brakes. I need brakes, but they're way expensive at the dealership. So I have a friend who's a mechanic, but he hasn't been calling back lately. So I don't know what his deal is. So I'll try him again Monday, and then I'll just go in and say, can you do my brakes? And let him say, I'm real busy, maybe next, set up an appointment time. So we will see. Otherwise, there's a lifeguard that is a mechanic, apparently. So I just talked to him. Oh, I can do it. Okay. So that was Thursday, I think. So I haven't heard, but I'll call him on Monday. Look, I need these brakes done. The question is, I got 62,000 miles on my Camry. Are the rotors used also? I don't know after 62,000 miles. I can't look at it and say it. Toyota, I don't trust because they want to charge me $600 for brakes and rotors. That they need to be done. Or you can rotate them and sand them. Do I need new ones? Am I going to need new ones every 60,000 miles? I don't think so. And the initial brakes should last probably 100,000 miles. So I'm not hearing squeaks. So I don't know what to make out of it. If I assume I need brakes soon, but I don't know about the things, and I don't know how much it's going to cost. So I got tires, so I do need brakes, I know. So I'm looking for other mechanics or things like that. So if anybody knows a mechanic in the Detroit area, send me an email. Anyway, I think there's Firestone can do it. But again, I need to analyze it. So what do I need? Do I need just pads or do I need the disc? How much are you? So I need to go to 3 or 4 different places to get the price. My mechanic I trust, and he's the best. He's the cheapest. So I don't need that. So if I can get back to him, I'm not going to go to Bell Tire and then Firestone. I'm not going to go to the dealership's fucking ridiculous. The oil change is like, I don't know what it is, $80, $90. I can go to the other one for $20. But since I give the guy football picks, I don't pay for my oil change. Although I did give Denver, so I might not be able to get back in there. Anyway, so that's where I'm at. But the gold and silver, again, you got to be patient with it. A, I know it's going to go up. B, I got to keep enough money on hand to buy brakes and stuff like that until the gold's 10, 15, 20,000, when maybe I sell an ounce for 20,000 to cover credit cards. But I really don't want to do that because I know it's going higher. See, once the people realize the Titanic's sinking, everybody's going to run off the boat, right? You're going to have this mass exodus, and that's what you're going to have with gold and silver. Once people realize, oh my God, I need it, they run to the store to buy gold and silver or Costco or whatever. One of my lifeguards says, oh, I just bought an ounce of gold. And I said, where'd you buy it at? And he said, well, I bought it online. And says, you should go to a 5 Mile and Haggerty store where I go, because online they're more expensive. And I said, they're probably $100 more than my guy, because I've checked it out before. And it's usually, if you go to SD Bullion, it's, the price for one is a lot more than a price for like 100. Well, who's going to buy 100? So the price for one, I go to my store. It's it's so much cheaper than that. So people got to realize where to buy it at. If you can get to my store, you can call them. I've given you the number before, but be careful online. I would not use JM Bullion, maybe SD Bullion, but be careful anyway. eBay's probably not bad. You don't normally, it's free shipping and no taxes, anything over $500, but they do mark it up because they have to pay the commission on the auction, right? You got to pay so much percent to eBay, so they mark it up. So if it's 2,000, they make it 2,030 with the 30 covering the auction and then the free shipping. So they do mark it up and then say free shipping, but the shipping is included. So keep that in mind. The best thing is to find a store, and I know in Alabama there aren't any. In Michigan, I found my guy, and he's pretty good. He's got 3 stores. He's really good, and he does. You can go in and sell it. He'll take it right away, give you cash. He did say though, when it goes up, so it's 30,000 an ounce. I come in with an ounce. Says, well, I'll have to give you a check. And I'm like, okay. So that's why I buy quarter ounces and half ounces, where I'll use the quarter ounce to do that. So that's really the point of it. The key is getting ounces, right? The more ounces you have, the better off you're going to be. You're going to have to take care, like Bobby, you're going to have to give some to your family, even though they won't listen to you now. At the end of the day, when the money is worthless and you're holding gold and silver, like I do with Jenna, I gave her a half ounce in Berlin. I'm going to give her something. When I meet Daria, I'm going to give her, an ounce, because I haven't given her any yet, just to take care of her. I mean, you're going to take care of your friends and family. So that's the key that you must understand. And then you hope that they're not with you because you're giving them gold and silver. That's really where they take advantage. They're only nice to you to get the gold and silver, and then they're not nice to you anymore. And I'm watching the video on this right now. Let's see. Well, I thought I was. So there's this one here. This is how a person who just wants to use you acts. So I got to watch that one. 14 minutes. It's not too long. I can watch it and get the key points for tomorrow's show. Why stoic living? So you're wondering, does she like me for me? Does she like me for my money? Is she using me? And this hopefully will help you. Normally it's one-sided. They ask for money. Like my problem has always been like Carmen. I'll get her a birthday gift or a Christmas gift, and she doesn't get anything from me. And her excuse is I'm poor. And I'm like, I'm going to pay for it anyway, so what do you care? And then I hate when then she'll go, I want to buy something from my sister and my mother. Why don't you buy something for me? I mean, I'm going to pay for it anyway, but it's the thought of, oh, Howard, I want to get you this. Yeah, you'll pay for it, but I'll get it for you, and then it's my gift to you. And she doesn't give me a gift, and I get so pissed. Like, look, it's the thought that counts. You don't have to spend $5 on me. Just the thought of getting me something. And that's when I think I'm being used. Why should I buy your sister and your mother, Christmas gifts? Nobody's giving me to buy for my mother and my brother. Why is that? Why should I? And then if I am, then why don't we include one gift for me from you? Because I'm paying anyway. So that's a question I ask, like, why aren't you buying me a gift? Right? And that's what I get. Are you using me? because you just want my money to buy gifts for your friend. That's out of bounds. That's up to you to have money to buy your friends gifts, right? I take care of you. Why am I taking care of your family? Now, am I being wrong? I don't know, but I know that's not a good thing. All right, 12:47. Let's get back and see what the line is. The last check before 1 p.m. on our Sunday, on our Sabbath, the day of football. Atlanta 2.5, 32.5. I think that stayed. Yeah, that's the same. We've got Cleveland 2.5, 37.5. That stayed. Green Bay 3.5, 41.5. That stayed. Tennessee 3, 38.5. That stayed. New Orleans 5.5, 39.5. That stayed. Keep in mind, they could be a half point. Miami 7, 35.5. That's what it was. Yeah, that stayed. KC went to 9.5, 39.5. Yeah, that's the same. Frisco 11.5, 48.5. Pretty much stayed. LA 6.5, 49.5. Yeah. Buffalo 2.5, 49.5. It's a high number with Micah Parsons in defense and rain and 15-mile-an-hour wind. That's a pretty high number. Baltimore 3.5, 40.5. That really hasn't changed against Jacksonville. And Philly 2.5, 45.5. Again, not sure about Hurts. I love the over. If I get Hurts and Smith, this is definitely an over. With Philly is a great over team. And you got rain, but you don't have anything else. So basically not a lot changed. We know Tyreek Hill's out. Olave, I guess, is out. We don't know about Geno Smith till tomorrow. And Hurts, there's some illness, which is probably just a flu or a fever. So keep that in mind. Everything's about economics. Everything's about competition. You must understand that. Like I go for the breaks, I'm using competition. I'll call 2 or 3 different places, try to get their estimates. I'll probably, one guy, so at Toyota, they told me I need rotors, but do I believe it? And he wanted to charge me $600 for the fronts and $600 from the back. And I just, like, you want me to pay $1,200 for brakes after 62,000 miles, which I'm not even sure I need brakes, but let's say I am, and I need rotors. There's a problem if I need rotors after 62,000. So I got to believe what he's saying, which I don't. And then I got to go to my guy who I believe, but I can't get in. So now I won't go to Bell Tire. They're very expensive. I can try Firestone and just get a free quote. Do I need the disc? And I know I need the pads. Do I need the disc? And then there's another one there. And then there's the kid who's the lifeguard. Now, I would trust. If he said you need disc, okay, I would trust him. And then I guess we would just go to a cheap store and get the disc and that. And if I need to spend $600-700 on front and back brakes and disc, that's what I'll have to do. Before they're not worth anything because the money won't be. So keep in mind there, you understand the money's worthless. You understand they're printing it to zero. You can't keep printing it and printing it and printing it and have no effect. But the Keynesians don't understand. They think you can just keep printing it and keep lying about it and saying, hey, you know what? It's not worth anything. It's still worth something because we say it is, and we can lie about it because we're elitist and you're stupid and you're going to believe whatever we say. Much like the Toyota guy, I'm telling him to buy gold. He doesn't believe it until he sees a friend who the wife knows who can convince the wife. So I can't convince the wife, which I'm scratching my head going, why didn't you believe me? Oh, you're not comfortable with me. Why aren't you comfortable with me? I'm teaching you right from exactly why, and you're not comfortable with me, why? Have your wife call me and I'll explain it to her. Nope, don't do that. But our friend who, it's this is the problem I'm dealing with, is that getting people, is it a comfort zone? Do you know Dan Rather or Walter Cronkite or these news guys? Are you friends with them? And so when they tell you something's going on, you believe it? The Russian war, do you believe it? It's not even a war. It's got nothing to do with anything. It's just it it's the defense contractors trying to make sales. That's what the war is about. It's the stupidest thing I've ever seen. The government's totally corrupt and run by the banks, this we know. So that's where we're at with that. But they keep printing the money, thinking we'll just keep printing the money. But here you got the debt. And then we finally got competition with the Russias and the Chinas and the BRICS, who don't want US dollars and be blackmailed and sanctioned like the US does. We're a very nasty government, the US. I don't like anything about it now. It's not free market, laissez-faire capital, Adam Smith, the way it was set up for. So somehow along the way, gold's supposed to be the only money. It's not. There's not supposed to be a central bank, just for this reason. Central bank's really communism. There shouldn't be taxes. There are. Why all the rule changes? This isn't the NFL where we're changing rules. You can't change the rules. That's why you got a constitution. This is the rule. So the rule with money is you print it, it goes to zero. The rule with gold is if you let it go free market, the demand for gold would go up because there's no other money. That's why I'm so sure about gold. If you could have bought, if you could have traded in your dollars for euros or Swiss francs or pounds or yuan, then I would have. But they're all corrupt and they're all printed to zero also. So there's no money out there you can go to that's going to save you except for gold and silver. That's why I'm sure, but I understand that. And that's the key to the lesson. Why gold? That's why, because they're printing it is hitting the iceberg. So you're on the Titanic, it hits the iceberg, you walk to the lifeboat with your gold and go in the lifeboat because you know from that point on, the water's coming in and you're going to sink. And for them printing the money and getting off of gold and silver, you know the boat's sinking and you know the only out is gold and silver. You know that. Look at the Romans. They took the silver and gold out of their coins. And how long did they last? We've taken our gold and silver out since 71, silver since 64, and somehow we've lasted this far. And I'm not sure. It's just the scam. It's just the Madoff where people don't really understand and they're too stupid and they don't teach it. So people don't really get the dollar's worthless and I need gold and silver. That's the problem. People don't get it. And then when I tell the Toyota guy and he doesn't get it, when I'm telling him, no, I really see the problem is people don't want to admit they're wrong. They don't know who to trust because, you can't trust the government. You end up not trusting anybody. I can't trust Howard. Well, he's an Austrian economist. Yeah, but, okay, what's my benefit? I don't sell you the gold. I get no benefit out of you buying the gold or the silver. I get nothing out of it. I'm doing it, right? I've sold all my money for gold and silver. So we're in Germany, and one of Jenna's girlfriends, Anastasia from Odessa, we start talking about gold. She says, "How much money do you have?" I thought it was a strange question. I just met the girl, and she's asking me how much money I have, and I said, "I don't have any money. I don't have any fiat. I got gold and silver." And her eyes got really big because she understood it. So a lot of the poorer countries, Ukraine, Russia, they get the gold because they know their dollars are worthless. The U.S. is kind of we're the bullies. How can our dollar go away? And my comeback for that is always, well, I'm sure the Romans said the same thing in the Roman Empire. Oh, we're the Romans. Nothing. We're fine. You lose the money, you're fucked. You lose the economy, and you lose the government. So fortunately, we'll lose the government, but the economy is going to go because you need the medium of exchange until we transfer from paper to gold. But can we do it? We don't have any gold. Now, I do think some of the banks have gold. Is that their plan to bankrupt us, and then they'll be issuing the gold-backed currency? This I don't know. We'll have to see, but it's quiet. We don't know this. We don't get this from Mark McGuire and Alligator. They don't know. They can't answer it. But the key is to get the gold and silver at free market prices, like my Canadian Club, like Coca-Cola, like my Mahomes card, like the Tom Brady's and the Jordans. All of eBay is free market, but gold and silver. That's done at paper prices. Why people use it, I don't have a fucking clue. But if you understand their paper prices, you take huge advantage. You know silver's not 25 an ounce. That's the paper price. I'm talking gold. They can inflate the paper price and sell 1 million ounces of silver, but you know what? There's not 1 million ounces out there. Well, I guess there's 265,000 tons of silver at 32,000 tons an ounce. So yeah, there would be 1 million ounces, but not 1 million tons. So if they try to sell 1 million tons of silver on COMEX, that doesn't exist. But that's where you're at. You have to understand that. You have to understand it's worthless, and they keep printing it, but because nobody realizes it, it just the story just the Ponzi scheme keeps going. Look at Madoff. He Ponzi schemed for like 25 years because the people in the Ponzi scheme were like getting their money, so they didn't care. So in other words, people who are when they were printing this dollar, this bullshit dollar, which is worthless, the people getting the dollars all excited. Well, I got the dollars, and I can go to Europe, and I can travel, and I can go to Hawaii. I can go to the grocery store, and I can buy this, and I can buy that, because it's the government forcing them to take it. Now, what the guy does at the auto store, what does he do? He gets the dollars and he runs to the coin store and buys gold and silver with it. He gets it, but I don't know that many people are doing that. He must have watched the class, because I don't know where he got that from, but he's right. I did tell the barbecue guy to do that. I says, you go take your money and buy gold and silver with it. I know he's bought some gold and silver off of my advice. He knows about it, but he's like, when's the price going to go up? See, they're not thinking right. It's when does the dollar go to zero is the question, not when does the gold price go up. The gold price is going up, don't you worry. And even though it's taking a while, you're not losing money on the gold. So in other words, the dollar's worthless, but the gold's 2,000, even though it's fake priced at paper. But the gold's not going down in price. It's really going up, where the paper's going to zero. So think of a car. It's got 100,000 or 200,000 miles on it. You paid 75,000 for the Mercedes. Now it has 250,000 miles. It ain't worth 75,000 anymore. It's worth 5,000. It's a Mercedes. It has some value. And that's the thing. The dollar is a depreciable asset. It's worth a penny. A dollar's worth a penny. 100's worth a dollar. And you know it's going to zero. There's nothing that can rescue it because you've already printed it. You print 10 trillion of it. There's no way you can gain value on the dollar. The dollar's going out. It's falling, and there's nothing that can make it go up. Interest rates, absolutely pointless and useless to try to get how does that get the dollar up? It doesn't. They're looking at prices. It's not prices. Inflation is. That's why I tell you, inflation is not prices. It's printing the money. So anyway, that's what you need to understand. And that's why you get out of the dollar. It's worthless, and you want to be in gold and silver. And that's really why you want to be in gold and silver, is the dollar going out, because they keep printing it and printing it and printing it, and they don't think it has a problem by printing. As I said, if you're going to eat chocolate cake every day, guess what? You're going to gain weight. You're going to get sick. You can't do it without any repercussions. You can't print the dollar without repercussions. So that is what is happening. And I know I talk about it a lot, but I want you to understand it so you can explain it to your kids and your family and your friends why you need to get out of the dollar. And I'm just trying to help people. but I feel I need to explain it. Now, I don't like when I explain it and you listen to the plumber because he's buying gold. And you go, he's buying gold. Then I'll get gold. There's people at the club I don't even talk to anymore. I told them about gold. They ignored me. So then I ignore you. I have nothing to talk to you about. And I don't really care. I'm not just ignoring them. I'm not saying anything. I'm not getting in a fight with them. It's not like I'm yelling at them, buy gold, buy gold. I just say, you're an idiot, and I don't have anything to say to you. I don't have anything to say to idiots. So once I realize you're an idiot, there's nothing to talk to you about because it's a waste of my energy. And if we're going to talk, I'm going to want to talk about gold and silver or football or economics. I don't really want to talk about the weather and it's Christmas and all this shit. I don't need that. So that's really the point. So that's where I'm at. It's getting near the end of December. January, Russia takes over BRICS, and look for the Russian gold-backed currency and the gold-backed dollar as an alternative. It's not going to be every member in BRICS has to use the gold-backed currency. It'll be there. So if Argentina and Brazil want to use their own currency, it'll still be worthless, but everybody will eventually run to the BRICS gold-backed currency. So right now, that'll force the value of gold to go up dramatically. And then once we can kill COMEX, which is, again, it's slow, right? When the Titanic hit the iceberg, didn't sink right away, and that's what we have here. But we know it's sinking. We know you keep printing the money and this huge debt, the boat's sinking. So you either get off the boat and go onto the gold boat or stay on the boat and sink. And that's kind of how I leave it. If you want to stay on the Titanic and sink, be my guest. But most people don't have a clue. They don't even know they're on the Titanic. I think that's the problem. I'm telling you, you're on the Titanic, and nobody even understands it. They don't get they're on the Titanic. So why would I buy gold? I'm not on the Titanic. Yes, you are. Now, it's by me saying it, some of the lifeguards are understanding. The guy I saw yesterday, I bought an ounce of gold. Some of the gals, they understand it. I try to give my friends some silver and gold just because I don't know how much I need, but I think I need as much as I can get, but I'm balancing some money left that I don't have to trade in my gold at 2,000 an ounce until there's a zero after it. And then if I have to, it'll be 1 ounce of gold for $20,000. So we'll see if we can get to that point. But soon, the dollar will be worthless. Nobody wants it now. But the problem is in these countries, there's no alternative. I use the dollar and I use my Morocco money, and I don't want to use the dollar, but there's nothing else to use. And that's really where the gold will come in. And they don't realize, there is something else you can use, the gold. But I think it's becoming more and more common that more and more people are realizing I need to go to gold and silver. And I suggest the silver at 25 an ounce because, it's a $2,000 an ounce thing. Oh, Howard, it's never gone over 50. It's been price fixed since 1971. So don't tell me that. In 71, whatever it was worth is worth a lot more because that's with inflated dollars. So the 25 now is like $2 for silver, right? If you look at the 1971 silver, $25 an ounce. Now with the inflated money, the money is so worthless that it's like a $2 coin that's worth 2,000, and it won't even be worth 2,000. It'll be a lot more. And the beauty of gold and silver, it gets priced in gold and silver. That's what my point is on Bitcoin. When the dollar goes out, what's Bitcoin going to be priced at? And nobody wants to tell you. And when the retirement planning, you'll be in stocks and dividends and bonds, and that'll be your income. The money, there won't be any money for you to retire on if you stay in the US dollar. But they don't talk about it because they don't understand it. And that's what they tell you. And that's why if they don't know about gold, just run very fast and don't even listen to your brokers or your financial planners. I am your financial planner. buy gold. You have nothing. You don't need life insurance. You don't need funeral insurance. You have no risk, and you're going to make a ton. I don't know what's so hard to understand about that. Am I making it up? You don't know me personally. You hear my football picks. I know something. I do have a master's. I show you that on the wall right there. That's my diploma with honors in 1995. And you hear me for 3 years doing this, and most of it is accurate. So that's all I can say is that's where we're headed. And just be careful. If you do travel to Europe, be careful. I would just use the debit and credit card. I wouldn't exchange your money for euros or whatever. I would just use your debit and credit card. You really don't need the money, right? Very, very rarely do you need paper money. So I would not ATM if you don't have to. Like I said, it's supposed to be 95 cents in Germany. It cost me $230 for 200. So I paid up the ass to get and I really didn't need it. I needed a little bit, but really I didn't. It's just I used it once in a while. If it was a $10 bill, I would pay with the euro, but I could have paid with the debit card or credit card. So anyway, please be careful with that. But understand what's going on. Understand the dollar. You're getting out of the dollar. That's the most important key here. You're getting out of the dollar, and you go, and there's no other place to go but gold and silver. If you can find another place, let me know. Bitcoin is not the other place. That's a Ponzi scheme. So that'd be like telling me, well, I'm getting out of dollars and going into Madoff. And I'd laugh going, good luck. When you lose all your money, let me know. It's just like craps. When the 7 hits, everybody on the pass line loses. So you got to be careful of the 7. All right. 2 hours on the nose and football. So I'm going to bid you a fond farewell. www.teaserking.com, $100 for the bowls, $200 for the bowls and the NFL playoffs, or the NFL through the Super Bowl. I got a few locks going today, a lot of plays, a lot of weather. So we will see what's going to happen here today. Hopefully better luck than the Denver game, but that happens. And I'm stoic. I lost. I don't hide and say, oh, I didn't play the game. Look at my winner. I don't do that. I tell you, yes, I had Denver. It lost. I tell you it did. One of those things. What am I supposed to do? It's the same premise when we had Denver over Kansas City, and we had Denver. I think I had Denver last week. Denver, San Diego, that was my lock. Denver wins 24-7. So I was okay with Denver last week. It just happens. Detroit is a very strange team, and they happened to win yesterday. And I got a big question mark, like what the fuck happened? A couple of turnovers by Denver, and they didn't blitz Goff, but okay. Okay. So I'll be a little more careful with Detroit, where I just assume they're a good bet against team, which they are. And I had a good team in Denver. Now, next week, if Detroit's favorite at Minnesota, I'm going to take a breath, check it out, and then will I lock it? I don't know. I might be weary about that. I prefer locking Kansas City after 2 losses, Philly after 2 losses, Dallas as a dog, the Niners. And then if I lose with them, well, I lost with the Niners, okay. Or good luck. I had Dallas, I had Philly, I had the Niners. I mean, I want to lock the 8 teams. I maybe have Denver a little bit overrated, but really I think the key to the bet was Detroit's 30 defense. So I thought they'd give up 30, 35 points to Russell Wilson and Sean Payton. And even if they put up 42, I'd be in the 30s like this San Diego game. And that's, I think, the most surprising is I only scored 10. That surprises me the most. I had the game 34-24 Denver. So that happens. But I'll admit it. I'm wrong. I'm not going to be right every time. And you got to know that when you're betting. And that's why you bet a percentage of your bankroll. And as we win, we got Alabama 7.5. If you don't like the game, if you don't like the bet, don't bet it. This is my bet. This is what I like. And I can give you reasons. And then you have to, it's like gold. I can tell you to buy gold and silver. You can either listen to me or listen to the plumber. And if the plumber likes them, then you bet it. That's fine with me. But that's the idea. I tell you to buy gold and silver and I explain it. And then you can do it or you can't. I tell you I buy gold. I show you the gold I buy. I show you the silver I buy. So you know what I bought. So you know if I'm telling you this, that I can back it up and say, look, here's gold and here's silver. That's what I bought with it. So you can at least know I'm honest and I'm backing it up. Now, if you don't, I don't know, you need more proof. Oh my God, I can't, my wife doesn't, she wants to be in money. There's nothing I can do. I can only give you my opinion, which is based on mostly fact for gold and silver and the opinions. And I try to give you the reasons in football, and then you can do it or not. But I show you, you go to my history page. I had Denver in 2 locks, one with Alabama and one with somebody else today. I think KC. And so I lost them. Okay, but I got plenty of picks, and as long as I win those, I'll be all right. I don't win 100%. I'm not Bernie Madoff. I cannot bet after the game. So anyway, good luck today. I hope you win. www.teaserking.com. I got to get my breaks done. I don't know when. I'll let you know. Figure me tomorrow about 1:30. I'll get up, go swim, call for some break places. I might have to go in and get go to Firestone and they say, yes, you need the rotors, or maybe I don't. Get a price, and then maybe go to another, and then call my mechanics and say, you want to do it or not? I can't keep driving with, I need brakes, and try to figure out why one mechanic is not contacting me back. All right, everybody, have a good day. Good luck on the games. www.teaserking.com. Buy your gold and buy your silver. Thank you very much. Have a great day.